Yates here with a new remembering video as we remember Christmas 2007. Hard to believe it's been 10 years since the third greatest Christmas season of all time, but here we are, Christmas 2017 on the horizon, but not before we look back at one of my favorite all-time Christmases. It's one that I don't talk about often because there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, and today I kind of want to talk about some of that. Actually, I want to talk about a lot of that. Anniversaries are a big deal to me. I don't really know why, but whenever there's like a 5-year or a 10-year anniversary of something, like I just kind of look back and say, wow, it's already been, like a decade since Christmas '07. I was 18 years old, going on 19, and now my 29th birthday looms ahead. And a lot has changed since then, obviously. And there were a lot of things in Christmas 2007 that were really significant at the time that maybe now don't seem as big of a deal, but back in that era, it was a huge deal. And I just want to kind of get into talking about some of that now. Now, I have a pretty good memory on my own, but, for the things that I might not remember, that's why I take videos. I take videos every year of every occurrence for just that reason, so that I can look back on them 5-10 years down the line. In 2007, there were a lot of storylines going on for Christmas 2007, and a lot of them really weren't captured on camera. Don't get me wrong, the Christmas 2007 video at Nani's was very good. It's actually the only Christmas video that takes place in Nani's living room for the gift opening, which was, very homely experience, to say the least. I'll get to that in a little bit, but the Christmas 2007 season, while it was filmed like most other Christmas seasons, there were a lot of things there that you don't see in the video. A lot of feelings, a lot of excitement that, I talked about Christmas as I always do, but it wasn't really brought up, except for a few rare occasions, what made Christmas 2007 so special. And now I'm going to take a look and show you. And yes, here we have the Sharp Aquos TV, the 32-inch high-definition TV, 720p, which doesn't seem so special now, but this was the crown jewel of 2007. And now, I know what you're thinking. I'm just some greedy little kid who, one year I loved getting a Dreamcast, and then, 8 years later I loved getting an HD TV. Well, I did, but not in the way you may think, no. This HD TV was something that I planned on buying for my parents since 2006, the end of 2006, because in 2006, Christmas in general took a big turn when I no longer just received presents, but I started giving them. After I got my first part-time job in the summer of 2006, I bought some pretty nice Christmas presents for my parents that year, but it was 2007 I looked at. With a full year to save my money, my goal was to save enough money to get a high-definition TV, which at the time was quite a bit more than it is now. It actually kind of makes me sick when I think about how much this TV costs now, or even a better TV costs like half or even less than what I paid for this TV. But all kidding aside, this was something that I looked forward to, I'd say, a long time. I mean, Christmas in general, there's a long build-up for me, but knowing that this was on the plate, knowing that this was the end game for Christmas 2007, going all the way back to Christmas 2006, I mean, it was a long process, planning, and I mean, it wasn't just the HD TV. I got my parents a lot of things that year, and it really was, like, it was truly probably the best giving I've ever done, and I love giving. And I feel like the giving aspect of the holidays is one I don't talk about often. I mean, we've all seen the clips of me freaking out over getting a second Dreamcast, or freaking out 10 years later about getting a laptop, or even last year getting a PlayStation 4. So, I mean, I'm not a stranger to getting big, flashy things. But even more than that, I love the feeling of giving that feeling to somebody else, of, delivering that big, special present that's going to just really make their Christmas season. And in 2007, I had a number of those, highlighted by that HD TV, which, again, at the time was very significant. Right now, it seems kind of like whatever. We have got like 4 HD TVs in the house. I don't even think people call them HD TVs anymore. They're just kind of TVs. But back in 2007, HD was still relatively new. The TVs were pretty expensive. Best TV we had at that point was a 25-inch standard def TV that had like the big back on it. And the picture was decent, but again, it was no 720p. And I remember spending all year looking at those TVs, going to stores, and I still feel like they look better in stores than they do in your house, but I don't know. But I did. I looked at a lot of TVs. I looked at Sony's, I looked at Sharps, I looked at Samsung, all these different TVs. They all looked really good. There were all, subtle differences between all of them. But 1080p TV at that time went for like a lot more than the 720p's, and I didn't think the picture quality was that much better on the 1080, but again, whatever. It was still an amazing gift, and I really think Christmas 2007, I nailed it, like with everybody, with all the gifts I gave that year. In that year, I went all out because, this was before I had a lot of bills to pay. This was, I just got a part-time job at Staples, and yeah, they don't pay a ton, but when I don't have to pay out too much, I can save a ton. So I had like a ton of money saved up for Christmas 2007, and it was I couldn't wait to just go nuts, basically. Because in addition to the TV, I got a lot of the stuff from Christmas 2007 still in use today, and that's how I can tell it's a good Christmas. A lot of times you buy people gifts, and they probably just go in the closet. But, that year I bought my dad a really nice Boston Celtics jacket that he still wears. I bought the microwave that's still in the dining room. I bought, obviously, the TV and a few other things. Obviously, not everything worked out, but it was just an incredible season. I was very excited to do it, very excited at the result. And that's not even counting some of the things that I want. I could do a whole other rant, and I probably will do a whole other rant on how Super Mario Galaxy was such a big game for me in my life. Just one of the most fun games I've ever played. And I know I'm a Sonic fan, so I probably shouldn't be saying that, but it really was one of the things that made Christmas 2007 so fun was, getting that game and just the lead up to that game, and of course getting to play it on the HD TV, because, let's face it, I got quite a bit of use out of that HD TV as well. And, Super Mario Galaxy and a few of the other games that year was a really fun part of the holiday. But like I said, it wasn't like the whole thing. Like other years, there's been years where, the main goal was to get, whatever, a PS4 or something. But Christmas 2007 was just all about giving. And that's how it should be. That is really, I've tried to make every Christmas about that. Every year, whether that's, it's not necessarily big flashy gifts, but it's just emotionally significant gifts. I've got like a whole bunch of criteria for how I buy my gifts. And Christmas 2007 kind of started that whole thing with gifts that were both practical, useful, also just entertaining in the case of the TV, more of a luxury than a necessity, but just really fun. And I think back to that Christmas and just so much of the planning I did and just how much it meant to me. And while we're at it, I may as well just tell the story of the day I actually got the Sharp Aquos TV. While I might not remember the exact date that I got the HD TV in 2007, I can tell you that it was shortly after Thanksgiving, which was a lot earlier than I had wanted to get it, because I didn't want to have to hide the TV any longer than I, needed to. I wanted to get it closer to Christmas so that maybe I was hiding it for a week or so. But as luck would have it, the exact Sharp Aquos TV model I had been looking at stores all over the area was on sale at Best Buy for Black Friday, and I mean huge on sale, like just a big price cut. I don't think I've seen a sale that good on a TV since, but this was a huge sale, and I was like freaking out because I'm like, I gotta get this TV like today, but it's Black Friday, so first of all, it's gonna be crowded as heck, and second of all, where am I gonna put the TV? Because my parents were home at that point. It was, Thanksgiving break for them, and it was just like, okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this TV. But I went down there anyway to try to get it, and they were actually sold out of it, which is not that big of a surprise. But they did give me a rain check, which I don't know if stores do that on Black Friday sales, but they did. They gave me a rain check on this TV that was really discounted. So I held on to the rain check ticket or whatever, and I called them a few times in the next few days to see if it was in stock. And it was in stock the following week, like the Tuesday after Black Friday weekend. I was back to school, my parents were back to work. And so after one of my classes, because I went to school at Avery Point, which is right across the bridge from where I had to go, and a lot of you don't know Connecticut, but it's not that far, basically, is my point. I called Best Buy after class, and they were like, yeah, we have the TV in. So I drove down there, got the TV. I had to wait a little bit because my dad didn't leave for work for like another hour or so, so I kind of just had this TV in my car. I'm just driving around. Didn't want to drive too close to home just in case I passed by him, but I drove around the area for about half an hour or so. Then I drove home. Got the TV up here into Christmas Central. This was before it was Christmas Central. This was before I had all this stuff in here, because I don't know how I would have hit the TV now. There was a lot of room in there. Actually, past videos, you can see the TV underneath a blanket. Christmas tree, looking all pretty. Pretty soon there's going to be some gifts around it, actually. There's already a very special gift right here. To my right. We'll get more into that in detail. And, actually, kind of funny, the other day I stumbled upon this. This is the gold bow that was on the TV box. I didn't know we kept this. Glad we did, though. It's a big old gold bow. It was sitting on top of the TV box for, God, almost a month. That TV was sitting there for a few weeks, which, I didn't really like doing that. I don't like having my big surprise out there in the open, even though, Yes, it was wrapped. It was under a blanket. I mean, nobody looked at it, but it was there. You know, it was a pretty decent size where you could kind of figure, you know, it wasn't clothes. Like, it was kind of obvious it was something bigger. But again, I really didn't have a choice. I mean, the TV was really on a good sale. I don't think it ever went on sale that big again until the Christmas season was over, so I had no choice. And I mean, in retrospect, I have no regrets. I mean, the TV worked out great. Actually, if it wasn't for that entertainment center in there, I probably could have gotten an even bigger TV, but the 32-inch works fine. It was an incredible thing. Now, I know you're all wondering, like, what was my dad's reaction to opening the HD TV? I don't have that on camera, unfortunately. I don't really film. In fact, I don't ever film my parents and I opening Christmas gifts in the morning. I feel like it's kind of just a personal thing, you know, between my family and I. I mean, honestly, at this point, my parents don't get that excited about Christmas morning anymore. So, like, it wouldn't even be that intriguing. But 10 years ago, I mean, there was still a lot of excitement for my parents. Don't get me wrong. I'm still excited about Christmas morning, but my parents, not so much. So, anyway, I didn't film it. I should have filmed it, because I remember him, like, opening the box, tearing off the gold wrapping paper, and just being like, oh my god, like, you know, like, they didn't want me to buy the TV, because obviously it was a lot of money, so they were like, oh, you shouldn't have spent all this money on this, and, you know, they had no problem hooking it up, though. I mean, it was just so entertaining. I had saved all year for it. So, I mean, like I said, not like I was, like, taking it out of, like, you know, my personal checking account or anything. I mean, I was taking it out of my account, but it was like a savings account, specifically made for that purpose. And, you know, I couldn't wait to do it. And then I did it, and I can still remember, like, the couple nights before Christmas actually hit and just being so excited, like, looking at the box, looking out the window here, just kind of thinking, like, man, what's going to happen when we open this TV? Like, I mean, I don't know what I thought was going to happen, and they opened the TV, but, it was such a great moment. Like, I don't know. You know, looking back at it now, like I said, it doesn't seem as significant because I've been buying gifts for people for over 10 years now, but before that, you know, I was a kid. I mean, well, not a kid, but I was like a teenager. I didn't have a job. You know, I just kind of liked getting video games for Christmas, and that was it. And that was it. Like, I didn't really buy. I might have bought my mom like a shirt one year or something. Like, I didn't really buy my parents much because I didn't have any money. And then, starting in 2006, that all changed. And since then, I've gotten my parents a number of great things, and I've received a number of great things. And the holiday season has been just so incredible. It still keeps getting better. This year, I'm really looking forward to going back to Nani's, of course, and kind of funny, actually. We went to Nani's on Christmas Eve in 2007, and it looks like we're going to be going to Nani's on Christmas Eve this year. And so it will literally be 10 years since that night at Nani's. And going to Nani's, again, was fun. And it was the big, you know, Christmas at Nani's festivity. One of the first years I actually had a Christmas logo, fun fact. The Christmas 2007 logo was a few Christmas trees together, following up the 06 logo. But anyway, Christmas 2007 was very nice. I liked that it was in the living room, in Nani's living room. It's like a very, like, small, homely room, you know, but it was also kind of cramped. And honestly, I don't think I'd want to do it again. But for that year, it was nice to have it in a different setting, I guess. I prefer the family room. There's just better lighting, and it's bigger, and everyone can see what's going on. But again, Christmas 2007 was an incredible one. So yeah, I mean, that is the story of Christmas 2007. Christmas season that was full of just ambitious gift ideas and receiving incredible gifts, and just everything really worked out that year. It was my most planned Christmas ever. Like, I had the plans ready in March of 07, and it really delivered on all fronts. And it was actually one of the very few Christmases when it was all said and done, I was satisfied. Like, it was time to put away Christmas and move on. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it was like, literally from Christmas 06 to Christmas 07, it had been almost like a year of Christmas planning. And it was exhaustive, but it was very rewarding. And when it was done, and when everyone had unwrapped the gifts, and everyone had, you know, we had our feast, and we had our family together, and everybody parted their separate ways, it was time, you know, to move on. But it felt good. Like, it felt like everything, my work was done. You know, everything I wanted to do got done. Everything that needed, you know, that I was excited about came to fruition. And not to say that doesn't happen a lot, but it is rare. Usually when Christmas leaves, there is a feeling of, you know, unfinished business, or, you know, something went better than I thought, but something didn't go as well as I thought. Like, it's just life, you know, like, it's just, no matter how well you plan for things, they don't always work out the way you want. And Christmas always works out awesomely, to be honest. But Christmas 2007 was one for the ages. Just everything went incredibly. And that's why it's my third favorite of all time. You know, it's not quite as magical as 99 or some of my childhood Christmases just because, you know, I was older, so I kind of, you know, I was doing the gift buying. I mean, I knew how everything got there, so it was kind of, didn't have that mystery of my younger Christmases, but it was still an incredible one that just kind of showed, it kind of painted the future of the holidays. Like, some of my favorite Christmases are the ones that influence Christmases for years to come. And I hope to, at some point, talk about Christmas 2012, which also kind of started a new direction for the holidays. But for today, I'm going to talk about Christmas 2007 because it did influence a lot of future holidays. And, you know, every so often you get one of those Christmases where it's like, every Christmas is great, don't get me wrong, but every now and then you get one of those legendary ones where it's like, whoa, you know, like it just kind of takes the holiday to another level. To a degree, we had one of those last year. So, I mean, it does happen fairly often. I'd say every few years or so, something new happens to Christmas that just adds to that legend. And Christmas 2007 is an important story, and it's one that I wanted to tell. And I'm sorry if I bored all of you telling it, but that is my story. That was Christmas 10 years ago for me. That was one of the greatest experiences of Christmas I've ever had. I look forward to topping it someday, but for right now, I'm just content to celebrate what was the third greatest of all time and to see what the future holds for Christmas. It really is a wonderful thing. So have a wonderful Christmas season, everyone. And, you know, never forget your history as far as, you know, just your holidays of the past, you know, just being a child, being an adult, and experiencing Christmas for the very first time. I mean, honestly, it's wonderful every year to go through this. And it's like almost like a rebirth of sorts, going through Christmas again. But I'm getting off on a tangent. Christmas 2007 was amazing. Christmas 2017 looks to be amazing as well. So, love to hear some of your stories from some of your favorite Christmases of all time. Until then, I will see you in a future video.